on in close. Martine, move on in closer. It's all about you. You can't get away from this one.
Sit somewhere. Sit?
Sit. There you go. There's a table. Here. Perfect spot. We need to see you, Martine. Sit there, yes.
Oh, I'm shy.
There you go.
Is this good?
Yes.
Almost. I'm a bit shy.
All right. I want to thank everyone for coming here tonight to recognize our dear friend, Martine. That's you, Martine. Martine Valley.
Thank you.
Right off the bat, there was a lot of work involved in organizing what appears to be rather innocuous event. But first of all, one of the people who worked extremely hard at organizing this event, and who will thank before even clapping for Martine, is Carole. Merci, Carole. And the second person I want to thank, I actually want to thank Martine. And the reason why I want to thank Martine is because, you know, we've kind of had this little organizing committee going on, and sort of Martine kind of said, well, I think I want to retire, and I think I want to have a party. And then, well, we're not retiring, so we don't need a party. So we put the plans, you know, back in our pocket, and then, you know, then she finally decided, yes, it's time to retire, and I want to retire. And okay, I'm going to retire, but then, well, I'm not sure if I want to celebrate that retirement, because I'm not sure if it's a happy event. I'm going to lose all my friends. I won't be able to be with them every day, to go out for beer after the day, to discuss social policy issues every day. So Martine felt very, very sad. You know, then, you know, the organizing committee, you know, otherwise, you know, we'll call them Martine's boys for the moment. You'll know who those people are soon enough. Would you know, try to cheer her up. So we have a pre-retirement party to be with Martine and cheer up and say, well, look, it won't be that bad. So, you know, we actually had 3 pre-retirement parties. The pre-retirement party, the pre-retirement party, the pre-retirement party. And, you know, it took a lot to get Martine out. So much so that I was a little bit worried that Martine might not actually show up for this one. Because she was concerned, well, nobody else is going to show up. Nobody cares about me. I'm you know, just Martine. I'm going to, you know, lose, and this is going to be bad, and I won't feel good, and so on and so forth. So, thank you, Martine, for being here. We really appreciate it. Coming and having a beer with us on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Thursday afternoon. Members are back in town, so it feels like Sunday already for me. So thank you, Martine. You have a lot of friends that are here, both folks who work with you right now, and you know what is testament to. And I didn't understand your worry to start off with. There's a lot of your friends who are here who are no longer with the commission, who are off working in other cities, doing other things, being retired, not caring about the rest of us whatsoever, but who showed up to recognize you, and you know, that's testament to who Martine is and what she's done for us. I'm the Master of Ceremonies, so what my role is to introduce a few other people, but before I do that, I just want to say thank you to Martine on behalf officially of the CRTC, because Martine, you know, her friends will speak here, and that's, you know, we'll say good words about her, but the CRTC owes a debt to Martine. Martine has, and I'd say single-handedly, and a lot of us have helped, but certainly single-handedly put issues of social justice, social responsibility, that soft underside of what our industry is, as front and center issues. We've moved the yardstick forward thanks to you, Martine, and you must be recognized for that by the institution. The institution says, thank you very much, Martine. You can truly say, as you know, she's crying. Everybody knew she was going to cry. This is not the first. She's, you know, going to cry now. She's going to cry after Peter speaks, after John speaks. after she speaks, I think we may all be crying, but we've saved something to cheer everybody up after Martine makes us all cry. So, thank you, Martine. And I'd now like to introduce our first speaker, who will be our Secretary General, none other than Mr. John Traversy, who will have a few words to say.
Friend Martine Vallée, where do I start? You know, I've worked with Martine for over 23 years now, and wow, what fun it has been, and at times a little bit crazy, right? There's a whole package, and I'll come back to the crazy in a second because I really want to highlight some of Martine's accomplishments during her years at the Commission. Now, I'm not sure if everybody realizes here that Martine was the hearing manager for the radio policy proceeding in the 1990s, which changed the future of the radio industry. It really did. That was the policy where we ended up allowing for increased ownership. They were allowed to go to 4 stations in one market. We increased CanCon to 35%, new CTD, new development initiatives. And since the 1990s, the radio industry before that was actually in trouble financially. And what had changed? All that FM licensing that's taken place over the last decade was coming from that policy. And think of all the initiatives, the new CanCon and everything else, the financial stability that provided, all was, Martine was the public hearing manager. I can remember working on that with her, so it was an amazing accomplishment. Shortly after that, Martine ends up being the hearing manager that introduced digital specialty services to Canadians. So that was the initial proceeding where we ended up deciding that we did license for digital only. Cat 1s and 2s, I think we've changed the names now to A and B, but it's essentially the same policy. And think about what that policy did. Like, the viewing options for Canadians now are just out of this world. We have tons of viewing options. Increased Canadian content expenditures, increased Canadian programming, all through that. She actually foresaw at that time that American Specialty Services would partner with Canadian owners, come into Canada with the new service. We'd get the best of the diversity, the best of the American programming that was available, for example, from the Discovery Channel. And then on top of that, they'd have to layer on, depending on the service, 40, 50, 30% Canadian content. Hey, what an achievement that was. I worked on Martine with that.
You worked on Martine.
I worked with Martine on that. That comes to the crazy part, Martine. Hold on, we'll get to that in a minute. And then, of course, you know, the social policy. Martine, like, hey, we all know, Scott just mentioned it. Social policy is, Martine she is social policy at the Commission, let's face it. And that's going to be your legacy going forward, that you initiated a social policy group of the Commission and done a terrific job with it. So congratulations. Now, she had many accomplishments, but the way Martine got to these accomplishments, that's for the crazy part, actually. And you know, I worked on many. I was started in broadcasting. I worked for many years in broadcasting with Martine. So I was you know, most of those proceedings, and we did many meetings and brainstorming sessions together, and the team. Randy Hudson was normally there. Nick was there at a lot of them. I think I'm dating myself.